Thank you. Acting Ceann, thank you very much. And Minister, I mean, for us all, we have to have a sustainable housing system, and we do need legislation like this, but we need to develop a culture of good practice and compliance with building regulations in the system itself, so that the customers can benefit, you know what I mean, the general public. And I think that's something we need to do, because we have to give confidence to the public, and we have to eliminate cow-by builders from the industry. I have people in my clinics with issues relating to their homes, and we need to ensure that everyone knows their homes are built to the highest standards, and that any professional services they use are also of a certain standard. To stop repeating the mistakes of the past, we need this legislation, and we must all support it. I especially welcome the mechanism for complaints against registered builders to be made on a number of grounds, in particular an entity providing building services in a category in which they are not registered. This bill provides for a range of proportionate sanctions to be imposed after investigation, and I really believe that that's welcome. That is important because we do need accountability, and this bill would provide it. It is vital that we have compliance in the construction sector through building regulations and building control regulations, including establishing registers of competent builders and placing the Construction Industry Register Ireland on the statutory footing. People need to have confidence in builders and developers, and anyone who is not operating in that spirit should be answerable. And Minister, like previous speakers here tonight, I think a lot of issues were raised, and you know, one of them is, and I was speaking to a friend of mine that lives in England, and councils in England have building control departments, so it's building inspections to ensure all work or compliance with building regulations. Like, I believe local authorities have a huge part to play here. And, you know, it's like everything, when you go for a house or anything to do with buildings, who do you contact? Your local authority. And I just want to know what exactly the role is, and maybe you could come back to me on that. But also there's the issue of building and infrastructure, and I know that was spoke about tonight. While we all want to see housing, and there is definitely a lack of supply, and another issue I have is affordable housing, that needs to be addressed too. But one of the biggest issues I feel in my own area in Carlow and Kilkenny is the infrastructure, where you know that there's going to be housing in an area, but you know that the roads can't take it. You know in yourself that there's going to be a huge backlog on roads, yet there's no infrastructure there. Water and sewerage are an issue. And I would ask that no matter what happens, that there is proper infrastructure put in place when builders are building houses. That needs to be really addressed. The other issue I want to ask you about is, and I know because people are telling me that the cost of housing, and it's a big issue, and I don't know how we're going to sort it. It's the cost of materials, and it's the delay of getting the materials. But also, as previous speakers have said, it's actually impossible to get tradespeople. And that's something, again, that we need to address, because it is so important. Of course, I know our apprenticeships seemingly are up this year, and that's so important, and it's something that I know the government are committed to make sure that we have enough apprenticeships in no matter what it is, building, electrical, you know, it's so important. But I just think that to get it right, that we need to do this. And while I welcome this, and I think it's really important, I just think there's other issues in local authorities that we need to address. Like, I know before Christmas here we spoke about planning, and a lot of the TDs spoke about the planning in local authorities and the issues it faces. And it was meant to be there was meant to be a full meeting here called on planning in local authorities, because I think every different area had their own issues with planning, and once-off planning, you know, whatever, like I suppose whatever different planning there is. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but I would ask that you would actually take note of that, because I think it is important that we speak about local authority planning infrastructure, because even though I know the development plans, are going on at the moment now, it is important that we as TDs know what's happening and see where we can make those changes, that people who contact us every day are saying, look, I have an issue with this, or I can't get planning there, or you know there's just so many obstacles in ways. And I know, even like from dealing with people where families, and they've had sons and daughters who have emigrated and they're trying to get back home, and if they got planning permission they would. Well, the obstacles that they have to face in local authorities is unreal. Now, We're here to encourage people, and we'd love to have our young people come back after going away and working, but we don't seem to be doing that, and I think that's why we need to address all these issues. And I think, they can be solved, but I think all of us working together need to do that. So, Minister, I know there's a lot of good work being done in housing. I know that there's a lot of issues that we need to address, and I know the commitment that Minister Darragh O'Brien and yourself are absolutely committed to, and I do believe that these issues can be solved, but I think it will take all of us working together to make sure that we never face people or have anyone in a situation that they cannot buy a house, through maybe not able to, like as I said, the affordable, or maybe someone that needs a house, that the supply is there, and that would be the biggest issue. Thank you, Minister.